And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Wednesday, November 6, 2024. And to start out, we certainly have had a pretty active weather pattern in the transition of coming out of October into early November. We have another strong North Pacific low that'll be heading just south and east of Kodiak Island as we go through the end of this week. It's not going to be as strong as the past couple of systems, but it will still have strong gusty winds, maybe perhaps to 50, 60 miles an hour around areas of Kodiak Island and the western Gulf. And it will have some areas of coastal rain and then the coastal mountain snows, but again, not quite as heavy a precipitation either. The same system, though, is going to push another front up across the northern panhandle as we go through Thursday afternoon and early Thursday night, maybe as much as 3 to 5 inches of snow along the Klondike Highway, especially above Skagway there at White Pass. As we look ahead here for tonight, overnight tonight into early Thursday, a possibility of a G1 geomagnetic storm, not a really big geomagnetic storm, a minor one at that, but it could enhance the northern lights. Full moon does not happen until mid-month, Friday, November 15th. And it looks like we could see a stormy pattern again emerge mid into late month prior to Thanksgiving. Some stronger, at least a couple of stronger North Pacific lows will be pushing up into the Bering and perhaps into the Gulf in that time frame, mid to late November. We still have a winter weather advisory for blowing snow up here along portions of the Chukchi Beaufort Sea coastline, vicinity of Point Lay, Wainwright, and Utqiagvik. Some strong polar easterly winds due to the high pressure up there in the Arctic Ocean and low pressure to the south out over the North Pacific and Gulf. It's keeping a pretty good pressure gradient here, creating areas of blowing snow that will reduce visibility, and that will continue in effect as we go through at least the early overnight. And then the other spot here is in the northern panhandle, Klondike Highway, especially above Skagway. Skagway should mainly get some rain, maybe briefly start as some wet snow changing to rain. But as you go up in elevation there along the Klondike Highway, Thursday afternoon and Thursday night, especially up through about midnight, maybe 3 to 5 inches of snow, and winds could gust as high as 35 miles an hour. And you get that set up because colder air comes down in out of Canada, but you have the front coming in up from the south with the moisture, so it allows that situation to set up for some accumulating snow there. And as a result, here's the details of that advisory for Skagway, especially up there toward White Pass along the Klondike Highway, mainly Thursday afternoon and into the evening hours, 3 to 5 inches of snow and winds gusting maybe to 35 miles an hour. So we do have a moisture feed earlier today come across the panhandle. There's going to be a little break in the action here this evening, tonight into Thursday morning. Here comes that next low center down here south of Kodiak Island. It's going to be moving northward, passing just south and then east of Kodiak Island for Thursday and into Friday. There's a remnant low of what was the remnants of Typhoon Kongray. That low now is kind of sitting right there along the YK Delta, Nunavik Island areas. It's not very strong. It's weakened considerably. And that features just kind of more what we call an inverted trough sitting there. And as we look at the satellite imagery, it just kind of shows that again. Here's the next main low. It's fairly strong, but it's not going to create as strong of winds as what we've seen with the past couple of low pressure systems in the past week. So here it has a low down around 965 millibars, occluded front out ahead of it. We have the remnants of Kongray of that low that's weakening, 981 millibars. Polar easterlies, still some gusty winds along areas of the Beaufort, Chukchi Sea coast there along the Arctic coast, but those winds will gradually come down overnight and during the day Thursday into early Friday. So by late tonight, early Thursday morning, the low will be situated south of Kodiak Island, about 962 millibars, and this occluded front pushing northeastward toward the panhandle. So more rain will overspread from south to north coastal areas, with the mountains picking up, especially mid-upper levels, picking up some moderate to locally heavy snowfall. This inverted trough on the backside of this system is what's left of Kongray near Nunavik Island, and then just general troughiness lingers. Chukchi Sea, Bering Strait southwest side, southwest coast there in the eastern Bering. For Thursday afternoon, the low is 969 millibars there just southeast of Kodiak Island, with the front pushing further north and inland. And then on Friday, we find the low weakening, filling to 989 millibars, with a trough lingering along the northern Gulf Coast into the outer coast of the Panhandle. The old front lifting up into the interior just as a weak trough. And then there will be the next area of low pressure that's going to scoot along the North Pacific side of the Aleutians here as we begin the early weekend, and that feature is expected to continue eastward. And rather than recurve up and get areas of the northwestern northern Gulf, it looks like it may stay more right along the North Pacific lower Gulf interface, so it won't get as far north as the past couple of systems. But interestingly enough, we did have a push of milder air associated with Cowen. Anchorage had temperatures mid-40s today, 44 degrees with some sunshine. We find temperatures Thursday morning, mid-30s up there towards Skagway, lower 40s outer and southern Panhandle. Temperatures should hold just above freezing, though. If there's any partly cloudy skies, a little lighter winds, you get black ice in this kind of situation. So be very careful driving around areas of south central Matsu Valley, because it's certainly going to be just hovering above freezing. Definitely below freezing Copper River Basin 20. Highs for Thursday afternoon could reach 50 degrees at, say, Klawak and Craig, 42 Skagway. Back here, still up near 40 Anchorage, Talkeetna. And then for Friday morning, lows could dip down to near 10 above in the Copper River Basin at Gulkana and Glen Allen. Below freezing in through the Anchorage Bowl and across much of the western Kenai. Back here across the southern Panhandle, temperatures are going to stay above 40, lower 40s for lows Friday morning. And then Friday afternoon, temperatures near steady mid, maybe upper 40s there again along Prince of Wales Island and normally warmer spots. Back to the west, still a little above freezing expected across south central as you get inland. 36 there for Anchorage, 34 Talkeetna, 38 over towards Soldotna and Kenai. Now in the north, we'll find some of the coldest temperatures. Could still be a few readings down near or below zero, like Anatuvik Pass. Single digits, some scattering, single digits above or below zero areas of the eastern interior, especially with clearer skies. And as I mentioned, that geomagnetic storm, if it does arrive, and it could enhance at least the quiet form auroras that you typically see this time of year. Back out down along the Seward Peninsula, especially Point Hope down along the Seward Peninsula coastline, lows in the lower 20s. Highs Thursday afternoon, teens up through the Brooks Range, Yukon Flats, 20s elsewhere, maybe even a little above freezing at Nome, certainly around or above freezing out there, Savunga and Gamble. And then for Friday morning, again, normally cold spots along the Brooks Range, upper Yukon Valley and Flats could be degrees, single digits above or below zero. Teens along the Arctic coast, lower 20s, Seward Peninsula, maybe still 30-ish there over towards Savunga. And for Friday afternoon highs, single digits above zero along the Brooks Range, Arctic Village back toward Anatuvik Pass. Lower 20s along the Arctic coast, even up in through areas like Tanana and Fairbanks, and creeping up the middle and upper portion of the Tanana Valley. For the southwest interior, we expect coldest temperatures on just the other side of the Alaska Range, McGrath 20, into the 20s for, say, Bethel, and for along the YK Deltas, upper 20s. Readings in the 30s above freezing Alaska Peninsula and the Aleutians. Thursday afternoon highs 46 Kodiak City with that low nearing. There could be some gustier winds coming in out of the northeast and east. We would find highs lower 40s, Big Bay, or I should say Cold Bay down through Unalaska, 39 to near 40 at St. Paul. Friday morning with that low taking shape here just east of Kodiak Island, northeasterly flow will draw down some colder air from both the upper Kuskokwim and middle Yukon valleys. So we expect some temperatures to dip into the teens in the southwest interior. 20s, though, everybody in this region below freezing, still above freezing along areas of the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians. And Friday afternoon, still expect about 45 for a high at Kodiak City, 36 across the way at King Salmon. And then across the interior, temperatures will remain below freezing Friday afternoon, generally 20 to 25, and then near freezing along the immediate Kuskokwim, Bristol Bay coast areas. And looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook approaching mid-November, the 12th through the 16th, we're looking at temperatures to average below normal here across the central, eastern, and interior, centered on Fairbanks, Northway, Eagle, and maybe a little above normal along the southwest coast, Kuskokwim and Bristol Bays, down across the Alaska Peninsula and into the Aleutians. Below normal over the Panhandle, but again, the greatest signature with probably occasionally at times some clearer skies there in the east central areas. However, with the pattern I was telling you toward mid-month, we might start to get a couple of stronger lows coming into the Bering or up out of the North Pacific into the Gulf. This area, the southwest quadrant of the mainland, including the Seward Peninsula, southwest interior, YK deltas into Bristol Bay, Alaska Peninsula. Precipitation in these areas could start to average above normal again, signaling a return to a more stormy pattern that could take us on and off up till Thanksgiving time. And now that we're sliding deeper into November, the air mass will be colder, so typically systems will tend to be accompanied by more in the way of snow or mixed precipitation chances. So stay tuned to later forecasts.